Hi, it's me, your favorite artist you're obviously subscribed to. They say in art, to get better, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to draw stuff you hate drawing. You need to get over that feelingness of embarrassment because you are supposed to be this amazing artist, but you can't even draw a tree or some shit. And I am someone who succumbs to that feeling of not wanting to draw other stuff because I feel like I'm terrible at it and I don't want to show that. But today, I'm going to kick that feeling right in the nuts and I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I am going to attempt traditional art. I want to show you that us social media artists go through our own struggles and that it's fine to own up to them. So some of you may know this, I fucking loathe traditional art. Now, I'm not saying that people who do it are stinky, quite the contrary. I admire people who can be given a paintbrush and a canvas and just draw anything. I wish I was like that, but I'm just saying it's not for me. I don't like the messiness that comes with it or how things just feel permanent. I love digital art because I love being able to see how different colors look on hair or clothing. If something looks wrong, I can resize it. I don't have to leave eraser marks everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get it. Also, I do not want to start a war in the comments over, oh, digital art isn't real. This artist sucks at traditional because his ass is getting carried by his computer who autocorrects everything for him. Shut the fuck up, ugly ass. I swear people who say that can't even draw in general. Digital and traditional artists are equally amazing. We shouldn't make fun of someone who prefers to be on one or the other because that's just their preference. I can already predict some Redditor is going to say that in the comments. Before we start, according to YouTube statistics, a small percentage of you are not... Wait. Anyways, enough of complaining. Let's get right onto it. So I'm going to go over the materials I bought first. So all of these materials were bought at Michael's. I was thinking about going to Five Below, but I thought Michael's was cheaper, and oh boy, I was so wrong. So first I got a mixed media XL sketchbook, which costed me $10. How sad. I got these pens. They're like ink pens. It comes with 5 of them. 4 of them are like fixed sizes, and then there's one that acts kind of like a paintbrush. And then it comes with a mechanical pencil that I really liked, so I decided to use that mechanical pencil for my sketching pencil. And yeah, they're pretty cool. Next, I got this eraser stick thing that extended. It ended up breaking halfway through while I was drawing, so I got mad and I just kind of threw it away. I ended up just using a regular rectangle eraser that I had around. So yeah, I got these 48 colored pencils, which are pretty cool, but I didn't really use that much. The only one that I used was the peach colored one for the skin tone, just because there was no peach colored like water, or you'll see in a moment. I got these watercolored pen markers that apparently like mix with water. So I also got like a watercolor brush, because that's usually what I use to shade on digital. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe it'll work in real life too. So yeah. Then I got these gel pens that are white. I've used them before, but I don't really think they're that good at what they're supposed to do. So I was kind of scared of using them, but fuck it. We're going to use it anyways. I didn't really explain how much they costed. In total, this came out to be like $90, which is kind of less than what I was expecting, but there's like... I was trying to go like with really cheap things because obviously everyone can't afford Copics, Prismacolors, so I kind of avoided that. Also, I didn't want to blow my money on things that I would only use once, probably, because I don't think I'm ever going to do this again. So I just bought quote-unquote cheap stuff because they were still expensive compared to Five Below. Everything at Five Below was legit under $5. Everything here was rounding about like 7 or 10, and it stacked up pretty quickly. And yeah. So I would rather shop at Five Below. Anyways, yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so here I'm just sketching. All right, I'm just gonna sketch ahead, and then I'm gonna look up like references. Like I'm thinking about the pose right now. I'm just trying to lightly as I can, sketch the pose because I really have this bad habit of pressing down really hard on when I'm drawing. So for the hand pose, I'm gonna do like the Chica dance, and then for the legs, I'm just gonna make them kind of like standing on her hips. I don't know how to explain it. So right now I'm already struggling because like I have to draw the head first and then the eyes because I need to make sure that the eyes fit with the head. And on digital, it's easy for me because I can always resize and move the eyes if I need to. But in traditional, I need to make sure I get the eyes right first try, or else I have to erase them all. So right here, as you can see, like I'm already having to erase them. I'm trying so hard to get them right. I've already tried 4 times by this point, and I keep erasing them. And this is already damaging the paper super much, and there's already so many eraser things around my desk that it's pissing me off. So I'm like, screw it, you know, I'll do the eyes last, okay? Right now, I'm just gonna do the things that I'm confident in doing. So like the hair, the clothing, you know, the posing, the hands. It's just the eyes that I'm so nervous on. I don't know why. Like in my drawings, if I can't get the eyes right, then I just scratch the drawing. Eyes to me are super important. So I'm like, screw it, you know what? Let's just sketch the rest of the body first. So now I'm trying to like look up references on like how people usually sketch the beginning sketch, because like I already know that I'm gonna outline it and then have to erase it, and I'm really scared that like when I erase it, it's gonna ruin the texture of the paper, which it kind of ends up doing, but it doesn't really affect anything aside from like the watercolors. I don't really think it affected that. It didn't really affect too much, honestly, to be real. So yeah, I'm gonna make her do the chica hand pose. And the horrible thing with that too is that every time I would look at the pose of the hands, they would look higher. So then I would have to erase the hands and draw them higher. And I'm like, do you understand? Like I'm not used to it, all right? Because the last time I drew digitally or traditionally was probably like freshman year of high school when I actually took art. And like that was the only time I ever tried. Last time I probably drew on paper was like when we graduated school. So yeah, it's going good right now. Everything's looking about where I want it to be. I'm kind of just struggling thinking about like what clothing to draw. When I'm drawing the shirt too, I think I do forget to outline the sleeve on the left one, but I do figure that out eventually. So, yep, as you can see, I kind of showed you it very quickly. That's what I got right now. Still looking through references, making sure everything in the top, I'm making sure everything right now in the top half looks good. And once I got that, oh, okay, well, I think I'm trying with the face again. Sorry about my hair, but I'm like super focused on this. I'm like hyper focused. This is my 6th time trying to get the eyes right, and I just can't. Like, at this point, I'm crying so hard. Like, oh my God, dude. In my head, I'm like, dude, I just like the eyes. Oh my God, it's so hard. So I'm looking up online, like how people do their eyes. So I'm like, screw it. You know what? Let's do the bottom half first. I'll actually leave the eyes for last this time. And I'm going to be lazy and just going to cut off her thighs at the bottom. Just because like I didn't really feel like drawing her knees or anything. Like I'm already depressed right now. So I don't want to draw something that makes me more depressed. So now that I'm finished with everything, now comes the time where I actually have to do the eyes. And I'm pretty sure that I did draw both the eyes. Okay. I was going to say, I think I only drew one of the eyes and covered it with the other one with hair, like, you know, how beginners do. But no, I think I manned up and actually drew both of them. I think by this time, this is like my 8th time. Oh, I'm drawing the pigtails right now. At this point, this is like my 8th time drawing the eyes. So when I'm sketching, like, I didn't even focus on lightly sketching at this point. I kind of just really hardly, like, I pressed really hard. That kind of fucked me over. So I guess when you're drawing traditional, don't press down really hard. The also thing I hate about sketching traditionally is that when I can't bring my muscle movement from my digital to my traditional. Like my muscle movement, my muscle memory is very different, because when I draw the same stroke that I would on digital to traditional, on traditional it just looks, it curves wrong, if you know what I mean. When I draw curves, they curve really badly, and the only reason it's like that is because on digital I have correction and stabilization. So it kind of messes up my muscle memory on traditional, because on traditional, then my curves are actually for real and there's no, you know, stabilization, and it just all looks wrong. Anyways, I'm going on to line art. Line art I do feel a little bit more confident on, because the pen kind of acts like my digital sketch pen, where it's just a fixed width and there's no pen pressure or anything. It's just a constant size, and that's what I like dealing with. when I sketch, I don't like to use pens that vary in opacity or width. I like to use a fixed size and width, and that's why I'm really confident on the line art. I do end up being a little bit like insecure about it towards the end, but I kind of fix it up right away. Like line art for me, like kind of went really smoothly, aside from the fact that I forgot to line art the left sleeve, and you know, in digital I'd be like, oh, no problem, I'll just erase the arm, but I can't do that here because everything is permanent and it drives me crazy. So I'm like, god damn it. It's kind of depressing, but you know, I'm gonna be a man about it. I do fix it later on, and I'll explain to you how I do. But yeah, line art does go really smoothly. I don't focus a lot on adding line like dynamic lines because like I don't need to for this drawing. If I do, I'll just go back and add a little bit, but I'm not gonna do it. So now here I am erasing everything. As you can see, I have to hover over the floor because I have a trash bag on the floor, and there's so many eraser shreds. Like, it's so messy. Like I hate the messiness. Like, okay, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, all right? Like, if you love traditional, that's fine. I'm just explaining my hatred towards it, and I hope you understand. So here is the line art plus sketch. The line art is very wobbly because my hand is very shaky, and the reason it's not shaky on digital is because I do quick strokes, very fast quick strokes that have correct like stabilization to them. But in real life, you don't get those wonders. In real life, you need to be steady with your hand and make sure that the line is going exactly where you want it to, or else you're gonna have to ruin your paper, or it's gonna be a permanent mark. So mistakes that you leave behind have I don't know, some philosophy bullshit right there. I had some philosophy bullshit right there. It's fine. So right here, I'm just, you know, I'm very deadly scared about the coloring because I have never used these water marker pens before. Of course, I've sketched with a pen and line arted, but I've never used these watercolor pens before. So I'm testing them out. And when I'm testing them out, they seem really cool and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? This might be actually easy. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the skirt. And when I'm filling out the skirt like halfway, I think to myself, damn, this red is super saturated. And my dumbass doesn't think about that I could have just like kind of on the sample paper that I have on my left, I could have just picked it up with the watercolor pen that I'm using right now. As you can see, I'm using a watercolor pen. I could have just made it more transparent by adding a lot of water to it and then applying it. But my dumbass takes the pen and just applies it straight on the drawing. And now the red is super saturated. But don't worry, I fuck it up later anyways. So as you can see, now I'm trying to find like a good shading color for the skirt. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't want to use like a darker color of the red because that's going to look weird. I want it to look very vibrant. So I'm thinking about using a purple for the shading of the red. So as you can see, I colored the eyes. The eyes turned out pretty decent, but it's nothing special. Now I'm going ahead and drawing like the under part of the skirt and filling it with black. And so I'm like, I want a gradient on the black. So I added black and then I watercolored it. And as you can see, I start panicking because the black is leaking onto the red. So I'm like, oh my God, God damn it. I do not know what to do here. So I come up with this brilliant idea. All right. Every good artist knows how to adapt. And I add black stripes to where it leaked onto the paper. So to cover up the leakage where it leaked, I just added black stripes. And I'm like, bam, problem solved. No worries. So you can see I'm adding like, I'm trying to make it look like a plaid skirt. I'm failing really hard, but I'm trying my best to anyways to cover up my mistakes. Remember, a good artist adapts, maybe. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to practice shading black. So when I'm doing the thigh highs, I'm adding like a blue color to it to represent the quote unquote highlights. And then I'm going to add the black. Now I'm kind of going all over the place because now I'm working on the eyes. And I kind of did fuck up the eyes a little, but oh well. The eyes there was nothing special to them. So now that the thigh highs have dried, or I guess they haven't dried yet because now I'm doing fish tights. And the fishnets I fucked up the perspective a little bit and they kind of look like ass cheeks, but it's fine because, you know, who cares? You know, it's fine. And the thing that I also hate about digital, and maybe this is just watercoloring, but it's watercolor and painting, that you have to wait for everything to dry. Okay, so now I'm getting onto the thigh highs, and now as you can see, I'm adding the black and I'm trying to blend it because I don't have an airbrush tool. So my compensation for an airbrush tool is to add like the watercolor pens and then like making them blurred out with a lot of water. So that's what I'm doing. The end result did turn out pretty nicely, but I did botch it here and there, but it did turn out kind of nicely. So I'm proud of the thigh highs, but that's about it. I would add hard shadows by using a black colored pencil, but it did kind of fuck up the texture a little bit. So yeah. So now I'm adding the skin color. I'm using peach to just fill in the skin color. Yeah, that's the only time I ever use a colored pencil because there was no skin tone, like a peach skin tone watercolor that I wanted to use. So now I'm trying to shade the skin tone, and I'm using a peach watercolor, and I think to myself, damn, that looks like straight up ass. So I'm gonna show you later what I do, but right now, like, I'm kind of like scared because I don't know how I'm gonna shade the skin because I don't like just using a darker version of the same color. So yeah, here I did a little coloring off camera, and as you can see, I fucked up the skirt really badly, but I honestly think that it made it look a little better. So now, as I'm doing the skin tone, I think to myself, I'm just gonna use a very watered out brown. And so I'm doing that, and it makes the skin tone actually look really nice. It's as if I was like shading the skin with a purple for some reason, and I think shading the skin with a watered down brown was actually the best thing I could have done. So I think to myself, God damn it, if only like the skirt, I could have just like watered out the color to make it look less saturated. I figured out that technique later. So I'm like, fuck, oh, whatever. The past is in the past. This is the future. Let's fucking go. So yeah, and now I'm gonna color the shirt. So I'm gonna do the same technique as I did with the thigh highs, where I first apply the highlight, quote unquote. So like the light color that I want like the shirt highlighted to look like. I'm looking up right now how to delete my YouTube channel. Yeah, with all this time, I'm literally waiting for like everything to dry just so I can color over it. I hate the waiting, bro. I literally just want to go ahead and draw because I am impatient. So now I'm coloring where the black should be, or like where the dark values are. And then I'm going to blur it out as if like I was using a blur brush on my digital computer. I'm blurring everything out because, okay, now I gotta wait again because I gotta wait for everything to dry out. So now that everything dries out, I can finally go ahead and add, oh, never mind. I'm just fixing up the sleeve now. And then I'm blurring everything again just to make sure everything looks good. I'm adding a little bit more dark to it. Okay, now that everything is dried out, I'm going to go ahead and ink the hard shadows of the black so that, you know, everything doesn't look so blurred out. I'm adding the black hard shadows. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of blush to her nose. I figured that I fucked it up, so I grabbed a napkin from my Firehouse Subs bag. And so now I'm using that. I try to add a little bit of yellow overlay to the shirt to make it glow more, but that doesn't work in real life, so I like cleaned it up right away. Okay, I'm gonna go back and ink over a bunch of stuff just to like make sure that like the line art is still clearly visible. I think of a smart solution, and since the shirt was black, I just thought to myself, why don't I just color over the arm? So my smart ass decides, yeah, I could just color over the arm. I'm kind of dumb. So now I'm looking at the monstrosity that I created, and I'm going back and I'm just fixing up the sleeve and stuff. I'm putting all my colors back, and that's what we got so far. So now I'm trying to keep myself organized. I'm putting everything that I don't need back. I'm going back with a brown to see if it makes the skin tone look any better, but no, it doesn't. So thinking about what color to make the hair. And so I decided to make the hair like this bluish gray. The bad thing about not being able to change colors is that like, I don't want everything to be black because like the only right hair color that would look right is black. And I'm like, I can't do that again. So I kind of just did like a bluish gray. Like I didn't really care if it looked right or wrong. I just did it anyways because I'm like, I can't use anything else. I can't change the colors. Fuck it. I'm just going to use a blue gray. So I color everything, and then I'm trying to blend it out using the watercolor brush. And then I'm like, God damn it. Now I'm waiting for it to dry again. So now I'm thinking of what color to shade it with. I try a very saturated blue. It didn't turn out what I liked it to. It didn't like turn out the way I wanted it. So like, fuck. So now I'm just going to do the head base first. I'm purposely leaving white so it looks like highlights, which I regret not doing with the rest of the body, where I just like don't color it in so it looks like highlights. And the bad thing about like drawing traditionally is that like you also got to think about physics, because like when I would try to color, a lot of the color would just bleed out outside the line art or into like other colors, and I would just be so depressed. So then I'm like, God damn it. But now I'm just coloring the bow. This is the last thing I have to color. So as the bow dries out, now I'm just going to go back and add like the shadow to it, the black shadow to it. And so I draw it. I'm thinking to myself, God damn, could this drawing look any worse? So now I'm just fixing up a few line art problems, making sure everything looks bold and nice, not gross. And that's it. That's the final drawing. Yeah, it looks depressing as fuck, doesn't it? It looks better when it's blurry. So like, if you were looking at it and thinking to yourself, God damn, that looks nice, and then you saw it actually up close, it's just like, God damn, that looks ugly. The shit look fire when it's blurry. So, yep, that's the final product. I don't think I'm ever gonna do this again because I hate the messiness of traditional. It's just so depressing, you know? But anyways, yeah, sometimes you just got to step out your comfort zone and you just got to display to people, yeah, I make mistakes too. Everything that I make doesn't always go to plan. And the moral of the story is I'm just going to stick to digital. It's way easy for me. I'm already used to it, and I don't think I want to change that. So I'm hoping what you take away from this video is just to go ahead and do it. Just try something new, all right? Like, you're not going to be good at something right away. Like, I'm not going to be good at traditional art right away. I didn't go into this thinking that I would be a immediate pro because, you know, I'm not. I'm a digital artist. I'm not a traditional artist. They're two completely different mediums. Like, some of the skills will transfer over, but not all of them will. I'll be a little bit good, but I'm not going to be a pro at it. And I can't expect myself to be immediately good at it. So, yeah. So, try something new today, all right? Try drawing a tree, a dog, a fucking mermaid, who cares? And yeah, if you like this video, be sure to leave a subscribe, comment, share, whatever. And I'll see you next week.